So the latest of the metros to go down to the DA is Tshwane Katlego Mathebe, is the Speaker of Tshwane's council. She's with the DA. She was elected unopposed a short while ago, as was the man, as was the mayor of Tshwane, Randall Williams. The city's inaugural council meeting is underway. The event was postponed last Thursday to finalise negotiations on possible coalition government. 214 councillors from 15 political parties have been sworn in to pave the way for the election of the new mayor and the Speaker of the council. Nozintombi Miya is my colleague who is in Tshwane at the moment. So the inevitable, some would have said, has occurred. Nozintombi, the DA has taken over the mayoralship of Tshwane.
Yeah, you're quite right, Tsepi. So, some would say it would have been the inevitable. He was elected unopposed. And it was quite interesting to see how, once he'd been elected, he actually addressed, the council members. And he said that he thanked the voters of South Africa for voting and casting their vote for the DA. And he also said that they will continue with their service delivery issues. But what was also quite interesting, Tsepi, is that the ANC made a particular note to ensure that they would note that they would not really be participating per se in the votes. And to talk to me a little bit more about this, I've got the Provincial Secretary of ANC in Gauteng, Mr. Jacob Kawe. Thank you so much for speaking to me, Mr. Kawe. The ANC chose not to challenge the nominations for the position of Speaker, Mayor and Chief Whip. Can you tell us why?
We initially came here to contest, having engaged many parties in what we believed is the coalition, which the rules of the coalition is to serve the people of Tshwane, its principles and each party's ideological outlook. As we were coming, like we saw yesterday and everywhere, we discovered that now it's a gang of unprincipled coalitions whose intention is to destroy the ANC and whose their intention is to oust the ANC from power. Having made that analysis as a party, we felt that we need not to legitimize a process run from unprincipled views.
So obviously this is why you noted that you were participating, but you wouldn't necessarily be voting.
Would not be voting, would not be granting anybody a privilege to celebrate whether you win or we win. We felt that this process now does no longer represent principles, does not represent anything we stand for. It's just a gangster thing, and therefore we thought we must just sit down and chill. We celebrate the numbers we have. We were voted. We voted in majority by the people of Tshwane. We thank them. We are legitimately so in a right way to thank them, but they didn't give us the majority, and we did say we would not want to govern at all costs. This is a demonstration of what we say, that we have seen, we have learned, we are in a renewal process. When we say something, we must do it. So the people of Tshwane know that we did say would not be desperate and govern at all costs, and this is what we did in practical terms.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you call it a coalition. Earlier when we spoke to the leader of Action SA, Mr. Herman Mashaba, he emphatically said that it was not a coalition, and instead all they'd be doing is supporting the candidates that were mooted by the DA. So it does seem at odds that you'd call it a coalition, and he's emphatically saying it's not a coalition.
Perhaps he was afraid to call it a gangster, and I'm sure gangsters, they don't call themselves coalition. But they are in this instant. They took a decision to rally behind. And we know after this there's going to be demands after demands. They will be exposed what they are.
There have been some talks that it is going to be quite difficult to run the council because of the different ideological perspectives of the different groupings here.
It's going to be, and that's why we're trying to have principled coalition. One of the difficulties will be passing budgets. Because if you are on principle, you're going to make a deal rather than focusing on where to prioritize service delivery. Yeah. We already know here that they are going to have a problem in passing budget and resolving water challenges in Hammanskraal. Yeah. We already know that they're going to have differences on dealing with sewer and challenges of waste in Soshango. So we know already. But also there, the ANC will always remain principle. If we've got to support you on your budget that services the people of Tshwane, we will do so. Our focus would be what is in the interest of the communities of Tshwane.
Mr. Kawe, before I let you go, where do you think it fell apart for the ANC for this elections? Where do you think it went wrong? In your self-reflection and self-assessment, just quickly give me a brief overview of where you felt it went wrong.
When you go to a doctor and the doctor does a diagnosis and you go home, you behave the same way, not change from what the doctor said, things fall apart. Right. We did a diagnosis in our own conference. Yeah. We said here are the problems, but we didn't deal with them. So we've got to deal with those problems.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Jacob Kawe from the ANC, the Provincial Secretary of the ANC in Gauteng, just giving us an analysis after the fact of where he felt the ANC went wrong and how they could have done better going forward. With that, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Nozintombi. So, as you said, the ANC